I built multi-edit because it worked offline, but when I first started building it, it was from scratch. So this repository I'm sending you to, this GitHub repository I'm sending you to, I created it from scratch, meaning that I started off with HTML, I added some CSS, some JavaScript, and one day I found something and it talked back. When I did this, I noticed that a lot of people never visited the GitHub repository, which is normal. I'm not really thinking that no one would visit it, but that was okay. You get what I mean? Because it was just the first beginning of it. It was just HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. There was no PHP, no Python. What I'm asking a lot of the viewers of this video is to just think for a second. Go to the repository, look at how I built it from scratch. Now, I will say that I did pass some of this data onto the ChatGPT, and it had a hard time trying to rebuild what I was building. So what I'm building right now, most of the AI can't build it. I mean, it's having a hard time trying to build it, the newer versions of it. But the first part that I built with the JavaScript, that's an important part. This was capable of holding, it held a certain amount of intelligence within the local storage of the browser. So imagine you're storing all of this information in the browser, and it starts talking back to you with the knowledge that you've given it from whatever sources that you give it from. Now, most of us, we know this as like campaign mode in a video game or a manual for a website, but this was a little bit different. The more I work on this, the more intense it gets, because I'm making it smaller and smaller and smaller. So what I'm asking is, if you like cybersecurity, or if you like AI, or you're trying to build a website that has a login, log out, and all this other stuff, visit this GitHub repository. I'm going to put it down in the link of the description. I call it MEV, M-E-V. It's called multi-edit vandalism. The reason I call it multi-edit vandalism is because right now it works offline. You can't see each other editing. But when I connect it the other way around, you'll see each other person's pages the way that it's connected. And it will merge into a singularity sooner or later. But that's not important. What's important is I want you to see how I built it from scratch at first. Work on it with me and look at what I'm looking at. The more I find, the more I'll feed to you through the repository. I'll update it every so often when I find something specific that I had found before, that I was working on before. And like I said, it's literally almost like an artificial intelligence. So be aware that it speaks on the web browser. It works offline, etc. But another one is, I wanted to also say, is there are some things that people will say that's funny. You know, oh, I could do this with no code. And, build it from scratch. Okay, build it from scratch first, and then use your AIs and all this other stuff. But just think for a second. Build it from scratch first. It's a 5-minute video trying to get you to look at this this GitHub repository I'm working on. Another one is I'm going to be deleting a lot of my other repositories and only focusing on this one specifically.